remix album of my last one. It featured producers from all around the world, it was very cool, all the way from Brazil to New York to all across Europe, and Canadians as well. So that was a lot of fun.
It's reggae music.
This was a combination of, there was drum and bass, there was dubstep, electronica, and of course dub. But yeah, rooted in reggae. Rooted in reggae.
Yeah. And you can't go wrong with reggae music, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
That's
all you need to say.
We haven't had is a reggae singer in here, a reggae band.
You will today.
Yeah. They're really good.
You will have Jay Douglas today with one of the best.
That right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He was on my last album too, and he's got his album out that's fantastic as well.
He's probably one
I'm
of the
only
best.
guy in the room that has no musical contribution to society.
Oh no.
The lilt of your voice, that was pretty good.
Yeah, really. So I'm curious as to how you got into this sort of a specific genre of music.
It was less crowded.
It was less crowded. That's a good answer, actually.
He actually went to Oakwood and studied classical music.
Yeah, I played classical upright bass for 7 years. I studied piano at the conservatory. Made it all the way to grade 3 before I bailed.
But grade 3 doesn't sound like much. But,
no, it wasn't.
In terms of, no, but it is. It's still an accomplishment. It's not like saying, well, my education is grade 3.
That's true.
You know
That's true. Yeah. That sounds a little not as good.
Yeah, even I did better than that.
So, you know, it was just a genre that I've always been passionate about. It's really the rhythmic aspect and the hypnosis that, it's very hypnotic, you know, and very rhythmic. And that's something as a drummer I gravitated towards right away. And just the simplicity of being able to see what you can do with a limited amount of notes and instrumentation, rather than, say, you go the opposite way with jazz, where, you know, there's a lot more action going on, whereas reggae, you have your 2 chords generally in a song, and what can you do with them? How do you make it interesting? And I always like the effects as well. Like, I'm an echo head.
An echo head.
Echo head. I collect echo boxes and machines.
You have to see his basement.
What is an echo box?
Echo box.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not certain.
There's a few different kinds. The classic one is a Roland Space Echo, which just has multiple playheads, so you can record something and it keeps looping it back and forth and loop it on itself, so it goes into this like infinite regeneration of itself. It just becomes noise, but effectively used and by King Tubby, who kind of was the forefather of the genre of dub. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
And are there? You mentioned you got into it because there was a lot more room, but has it become more and more popular with the advancement of technology, especially?
There's a lot of underground, very popular underground, but I think, you know, when Marley passed away 30-odd years ago, that was when it was at its mainstream peak, and it's kind of just maintained. I mean, still today, your majority of people know, I've got Bob Marley's Legend album, but outside of that, they're not really familiar with a lot of it, so it's really an underground youth movement still around.
What about Peter Tosh and his influence?
You know what? I think him and Bunny Wailer, the other two, went on and had fantastic careers, but, you know, still overshadowed by Bob Marley. Yeah. And it's interesting because you look in the U.S., the Marley kids, Damien, Steve, and there's about 15 of them.
One of them played in the CFL, I think.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think one of Bob Marley's kids actually played football for a while.
I wonder if he was disowned. What do you mean you're not playing reggae? Yeah. But they dominate the charts, you know, and every time the Grammys come around, they dominate the awards. You know, they're just, the Marley name is just, that's what has the cachet and kind of keeps the momentum going, I think, for a lot of mainstream audiences.
He just did the Bob Marley documentary. He scored that.
Oh, did you?
Well, I composed a few tracks for it and supplied some of the other songs for it.
Supervisor.
It was Denisha Pendergrass, which is Bob Marley's granddaughter, legitimate granddaughter from Rita and Bob, and that was a movie called Rasta Soul's Journey, basically looking at the history and influence of Rastafarianism, how it's kind of gone around the world. So she's traveled to Ethiopia, she's traveled to Israel, all over the world, checking out what the influences are and how it's kind of traversed the world and become what it is and what the meaning is for each of the different people in these different areas. So it's pretty interesting movie, yeah.
And when is this documentary going to be released?
It is, I think they finalized it. There's going to be, during Black History Month, they'll be showing it at the ROM. And I know they had a showing in Montreal, then they've got one in Whistler at a film festival. And then next year, I think, this is the big year where they're shopping it for distribution. I think they've got distribution in France and Germany and other places like that. So, and they're doing a TV version as well. So this is just the beginning. So I'll find out more as I go.
Big reggae community in Toronto.
Yeah, there has been. I mean, Bill King right here is one of the forefathers. You know, yeah, him, Jay Douglas, Pablo Paul, who they all used to play together.
There was the first wave with the Cougars and guys who were extension of bands called like the Cavaliers and stuff, that were all children of parents who came here in the 50s and 60s, and they brought the music here, and many of those are still around, and they mentor guys like Jesse and the younger generation that have been here. And through the years, a lot of the greats have come here and played, and we had the opportunity in the early 70s to back like Yellow Man and Lord Tonamo and a lot of the greats here playing concerts. So,
wow, that's pretty. That's
it's
really,
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, our correct producer Dan Jacobs, right on it here. Rohan Anthony Marley, son of the late
Rohan, okay.
Bob Marley, graduated Miami Palmetto Senior High School, played linebacker for the University of Miami football team, where he played along with Dwayne Johnson and Ray Lewis, and he played professional football in the CFL with the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Just hang on by.
Is he married to Lauryn Hill?
Yeah.
I think he's married to Lauryn Hill as well. The great singer from the Fugees who had the amazing hit.
I don't have that on here.
I think that's the same guy.
I'm hearing yes he is.
Okay.
Yes he is.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm hearing from our correct producer.
And I think they have like quite a few children as well. Mandatory.
5. How do you even know this?
This guy's on it, man.
Now you're making this stuff up, 5. He's yelling all this stuff in my ear. Now, I got to tell you very quickly, because we're almost up against the news here, but I met Peter Tosh once. I interviewed him.
Amazing.
I was doing entertainment news for CBC Toronto television, and he was down at, well, whatever it is now, the Sony Center or whatever used to be the...
Hummingbird.
It used to be
O'Keefe.
the O'Keefe.
Yeah.
And so he's got a concert that night, so I'm going down there in the afternoon to record, and there's me and a producer and a cameraman, and he's sitting in the lobby, and they got this chair set up and the whole deal, and I'm starting to do the interview with him, and he pulls out a joint the size of my arm, and he lights it up, and he starts smoking while I'm doing this interview with
Did you
him,
give
right?
it back?
And he, I said, can I just save me the roach? So he leans over and he asked me if I wanted to talk. I said, no, it's not going to be cool, not at all. But anyway, he was quite a fascinating guy.
Wonder why you remembered that.
I don't know. Well, because it's an interesting, unique story, that's why.
It's a great story.
All right, Jesse King's with us. Also, the Heavyweights Brass Band, their latest CD called Don't Bring Me Down. And throughout the afternoon, you're going to hear more from them, and then you're going to hear also from Jay Douglas, and Jay Jackson is going to join us. Ram James has a...